So this is my third attempt making farmer's cheese. It's Wednesday, 26th of February 2025. Light's only flashing because it's an effect of the camera. If you look at it with your eye, it doesn't flash. But it's showing I've got both rings on the electric on a gentle heat, and I'm making farmer's cheese. So you have to stir this continuously, and I'm going to add into there vinegar at a rate of 60 ml white vinegar. Here it is. White vinegar at a rate of 60 ml per litre and a half. So I've got whole milk there. It came out of here, and I put 2 of these in, and 2 of these is 2 times 2.272 litres. I weighed it was about 2.3 litres. So 2 of those is 4.6 litres. And at a rate of 60 ml of white vinegar per litre and a half, I have to put in 184 ml of white vinegar. I've already calculated it. Now, what we do, we start at 23 centigrade, stirring all the time. I'm going to add in the white vinegar slowly, which is about 3 of these. Now this is let's see if I can get the angle right. This is 65 ml or a quarter cup. Some say a quarter cup is 60 ml, but either way, 3 sixes are 18. So 3 of these at 65 ml is 195 ml. I'll do a tiny bit less to bring it down to 184. So 3 of these, just under 3 of these, will go into there when I get the temperature to 23 centigrade. Stirring all the time. So how do I know when it's going to be 23 centigrade? Because I've got a thermopen here that has the temperature in degrees centigrade there. So we're going to take a temperature now. 9.2 centigrade. So it's coming up. When that gets to 23, I will slowly add the vinegar. And then when I say slowly, I'll put in about a quarter cup at a time. So I'll just tip this in 4 times, quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll do that 3 times for 3 cups. So do that 23 centigrade, and then when this, then I keep stirring, and at about 70 to 80 centigrade is going to curdle, and I will see a cloudy yellowish whey and speckled white dots showing it's curdled out. As soon as it's curdled, I'm going to remove it from the heat, and I'll at that point put it in. I'll pour it carefully into a muslin cloth bag hot, and I'll leave it, I'll hang the bag overnight to drain, and then the cheese is ready to eat. What does it taste like? It's a bit like Philadelphia cream cheese. It's very good. It's not quite the same taste, but I was very surprised that this cheese is surprisingly delicious. I would put it into, it's much better than cheddar, and I put it into a category of saying it's, you can't stop eating it. Now this milk here that I've used is £1.45 for 2.2 litres. So that's £2.90 for the milk. So, and the vinegar, these bottles are 35p. So let's call it £3 for the ingredients, and let's say 10p for the electric. So say £3.10. Now from a litre and a half of milk, I typically get about 1/10 of the weight in cheese. So a litre and a half, call it the same density as water. That's going to be 1.5 kilos or 150 grams of cheese. Now I've got here 150 times, how many times is 1.5 going to 4.6? Well, 3 is 2. It's about 3 times. So I've got 3 times 150 grams of cheese, which is about 450 grams of cheese. This will give me about half a kilo of cheese, 500 grams for £3.10. So it's very comparable in price with supermarket cheddar, but you know exactly what's in it, and if you try it at home, I think you'll find it tastes a lot better. Anyway, I'll unpause the video when I get to 23 centigrade, and if I can hold the camera and put the vinegar in at the same time, I'll show you that. But just before I pause, let's take a temperature again and see where we're at. 13, so we've another 10 degrees to go, and then I'll unpause the video. Okay, it's reached 23 centigrade and I've stopped continuously stirring for just a moment. There you go. So I need to add in this vinegar now fairly quickly. And I'm just going to, there's 1 cup. I'm just going to tip it in, not quarters, because I have to keep stirring. And I'm going to stir that in, and then I'm going to add 2 more. Because the temperature is going to start coming up quickly. I'm going to slow down the heat while I get that vinegar in. I'm just going to pause a second for the second cup. Okay, second cup coming. There we are. And then third one. I'm going to pause and put the third one in. Here goes the third cup. You can see, you'll see in a moment that you can see the curds. There they are. You see speckled curds. They're now forming. So, and you can see them if you look carefully on the top. You see the curds? You can see them. Okay, so we keep stirring now until we get to between 70 and 80 centigrade, or until we see a yellow cloudy whey, until we see the curds and the whey separate out into the curds, a white speckly curd and a yellow cloudy whey. I'll come back to the video then. Something I omitted to say was make sure you get a spatula with a flat bottom, because it allows you to make sure you can push it along, not scrape it because nothing's going to build on there. You can push it along the bottom all the time, and you can now clearly see the curds forming. And you want to push the flat spatula along the bottom to stop anything building up on there. So you can now very clearly see the curds forming. We're now at 38 centigrade and I need to keep stirring. I'll come back. Okay, so we've got very clear curds on top. Let's have a look at temperature. 46 centigrade. Okay, temperature is now 55. Let's have a quick look. You can see how curded it is, but it's nowhere near yellow cloudy and we're not seeing distinct whey formed yet. We've a while to go. It'll happen between 70 and 80 in my experience, and as soon as it happens and we've got separated out into yellow cloudy whey and distinct curds, we take it off the heat and it can go in the muslin bag. What I do is I put the muslin bag in a very clean colander and I ladle it in. Obviously with a pot of this size with 4.6 litres of liquid in it, where it's very close to the brim, I'm going to be ladling it out first. I've learnt to pour it. I don't think pouring it does any harm, but this one's just too big to do that. I don't know if you can see it's just starting to curdle out. That's 50, 60, 62. Now you're very careful this doesn't boil. You could probably hear the boiling signs there. I have got it on 8, but then it is 4.6 litres. So the effect of 8 while stirring it's the same as the effect of 6, I think, with 1.5 litres. It wasn't anywhere near as curdly as this. You can see the big lumps of cheese there, or big lumps of curd rather. It wasn't anywhere near as lumpy as this with 1.5 litres. In fact, if you do 1.5 litres, it's very speckly. Now we can see the curd coming out. I don't know if you can see the colours, but the colours are starting to change. And the whey, the liquid, is becoming very much more less like milk as this happens. Yes, we can see it separating out. I think we can clearly see that, but it's not there yet. There's a while to go. Let's see what temperature we've got. 65. So it should happen after another 6 degrees or so. It's that look. You can see it looks almost like a sort of stringy Italian cheese. Let's ladle some of it out. You see that sort of stringy look? When you do a much smaller volume than 4.6 litres of whole milk, which I have here, it'll be far more speckly. It won't look like you've got solid lumps of curd here like I do have here, but it will work just as well with a smaller volume. It just won't look the same. Now you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it starting to change colour. The whey is starting to yellow. And it's almost that cloudy yellow. That means we're done. Let me give it another stir. I want to make sure nothing is adhering to the bottom, and then I'm going to take temperature. Here we go. .68. I think we're just about done. That's a yellow cloudy whey. I'm going to let it go to 71, which is what I did before, to get all the milk out into curds. And then I think we'll drain it. You can see a very distinct separation now. There's very cloudy whey. It's no longer milk and the curds. Now, I think we're done. Yes, we're clearly done. Let me just take a temperature so you can see temperature there. Yes, that's 70. That's good enough for me. I'll unpause. I'm going to take that off the heat now. That's it off the hob. And I'm going to get the colander and the muslin bag, and I'll show you me ladling it in. Okay, there's my colander. It's super clean. It's over the sink because I'm not going to keep the whey. And there's my muslin bag. I'm just going to untie that and open it up. So that's the muslin bag untied and unopened, and I'm going to ladle the whey in. So not the whey, the mixture. Okay, that's me just ready to ladle the mixture in. So I'm going to take the spatula out. Don't want to lose anything. Okay, and then just take this mixture of, and that goes into the muslin bag. And I simply keep doing that until it's all in there. If you watch Gavin Webber at all on his channel, I think we've all looked at lots of his stuff, you'll see that he recommends using a ladle. I think he's had problems in the past with, the curds breaking up before they're supposed to, but I have poured this in the past, and it didn't make any difference with farmer's cheese. But of course, I'm having to ladle it here because it's just such a volume of the fluid. And you can see I've kind of more or less got down to the whey there, and I'll be able to pour it in now because I can. Now I'm going to pour it, so I won't show you that because I'm going to need both hands. Okay, and that's it poured in, and you can see the final result there. There's quite a lot of cheese, and there's the whey draining out through the muslin cloth. So what I'll do, I'll tighten the bag up, and I will hang that overnight, and then I'll refrigerate in the morning, and that's it. I'll hang it overnight, and I'll take it out of the bag into a very clean bowl, cover it with cling film and refrigerate, and I'll do that in the morning. Okay, that's it. So if you want to make farmer's cheese, that's how to do it. Okay, and there it is hanging off the tap, and I'll leave it there for probably overnight. It's now 5:15 p.m, so I'll come and get that 6 o'clock in the morning or later tonight at maybe 8 or 10. I'll see what it's like. But it's the most delicious cheese, and I highly recommend trying it if you've never done farmer's cheese. I found I didn't have to salt it. You can, of course, salt it. You can add double cream if you want. You can, if you want to turn it into dessert, you can even add no salt and add some honey and raspberries. It's part of the tradition. This is in Scotland we call this Crowdies, and it's a key ingredient if you make cronachan, which is delicious, and you want to make cronachan in the traditional way, following the super traditional recipe. But this cheese is delicious either way. As I say, it's a wee bit like Philly, but I think it's better. There we are.